attack, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Today is the 12th day of the second month of the new year. Black History Month, February 12th, 2021. Good morning. I'm sorry I came on a little late. Every now and then my computer has to update. It doesn't tell me. Just say I'm going to do it tomorrow morning. So as soon as I come on, usually I get ready to start my show. It tells me, no, you got to update. Or my volume gets bad or something wrong and I go to restart. And it tells me I got to update. So that what happens. And it happened this morning. So it took about 30 minutes for it to update. And here I am. Let's get into my lesson this morning. My topics are recognizing Speaker Nancy Pelosi's leadership. 2. Can CDCians infectious love for President George Weah benefit Liberians? 3. Liberia's educators are too many and no students. Let's get into my lesson. You see, one of the profound leaders in America today that hasn't gotten the recognition and props that she deserves is Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. Although Kamala Harris is the first Vice President of the United States of America, in my view, Nancy Pelosi is a great leader in this era of the United States of America. She is the leader of our nation. And whether we accept it or not, this woman's leadership has set a profound example for the survival of our constitutional democracy, for America, and for everything that is patriotic, loyal, honest, and sincere in this era of Donald Trump's debacle. So, that's why I feel it is important that I give Nancy Pelosi the recognition she deserves. She is a great woman. We haven't seen Kamala Harris in action yet. We still await her arrival to the post of Vice President. But Nancy Pelosi is a wise and experienced leader who has guided us, the United States Congress and the United States of America, in this time and era of total failure of Donald Trump, a total failure of the leadership of the United States of America. So it behooves me and my people. When I say my people, those people that believe in my efforts, that believe in my teachings, that believe in my leadership, to stand up now and honor this great woman and give her all the props, all the blessings, all the power of grace and love that she needs, because she has been a great and patriotic American. So as we go through this era of total failure, as we go through this era of seeing our country torn apart by confusion, by negative thinking, by negative ideals, things that are foreign to us, QAnon. Who are these people? These are un-American, unpatriotic people. Every day we just got all kind of new development in our society. Is this what modernization, is this what futuristic ideals and thinking is all about? You know, every day we come up with some stupid thought pattern to change and confuse us even more than we are, to breed more wicked people, to breed more hateful people. What is this? Instead of preparing our nation, our peoples for a better coming of a new era, people want to take us back to 1960s and 1940s when their fathers ruled America. How can we tolerate that? We can't. Look at America today. Our children are out of school. We're still debating on whether to send children to school or not. Biden is left so confused because the man has messed our system up so bad. You know, one man, Donald Trump, come and destroy our whole system of leadership, our whole system of education, our whole system of divinity, our whole system of direction, our whole system of truth, our whole system of investigation. One man. And it wasn't for a hero like Nancy Pelosi. If it wasn't for a hero like Nancy Pelosi, you know, she's the leader. Yes, there were men behind her. There were women behind her. Wise men, wise women. But she had to make the ultimate decision. In every leadership, you got so many sides. But the final decision is up to you. And if you make the wrong decision, if you follow the wrong advice, if you slip in your own convictions and ideas and question yourself, you will fail. That's why I kept watching Nancy Pelosi. I kept checking on her too. Because I know, just like Joe Biden now, they are faced with many challenges. But she met the challenge. She overcame the pressure, the stress, the negativity, and stood and is still standing upon grounds of leadership, grounds of direction, grounds of empathy, of understanding, of leadership. So before this week ends, I got to get Nancy her flowers. She deserves her flowers. And I want to take this morning to salute Nancy Pelosi, to recognize her as a great American, and ask my other people to join me, because this woman helped to guide us through the darkness and doom that is still overclouding our country, our future, our direction and leadership of the world peaceful, united, and democratic nation of peace and stability. So, despite all the men who stand for constitutional democracy, and despite all the evil men, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, Jordan, I can't remember the other man name from wherever he is from, that Representative Jordan, McCarthy, Senator McCarthy, Lindsey Graham, Josh Hawley, Tom Cruise. You know, those people were ashamed watching themselves as supporters of this disgrace and shame. I listened to my Senator David Cicilline as you were talking about how the people that had to clean up that mess that was made in our Capitol building were black and minorities. They had to clean up all that mess. Feces all on the wall. That's what people do in prison. For 25 years, I've worked in prison and seen that kind of thing. Seen it. You know why that thing makes you sick? See, people take their defecated mess and smear it all on the wall with their hands, spear it, clean their back behinds with their hands. They put on their trousers and go smear that thing all over the wall. This is a disgrace. And David Cicilline brought it full front. I listened to it, I was so, how can you tolerate that kind of thing? How can you tolerate that kind of thing? I know my thing is hitching and all of that. I see it. But these are the truths. These are the realities. This is what happened. And it got to go down in infamy because it's happened. And American people went into our Capitol building and humiliated themselves. Not our Congress people, they humiliated themselves. And now our nation is facing the worst disgrace we've ever faced. Nowhere in American history have you heard in the annals of our archives of like Americans defecating and smearing their mess all over the Capitol building of the United States of America. So when my people had to go clean up that mess and saw all the things of hatred, of evil, or people who trying to re-enslave black people and minorities. Our own people trying to do that to us in this day and age. For me, it doesn't generate hate. No. I come from a different era, different place where enslavement, physical enslavement was never my thing. We are mentally enslaved in my country. But in America, to be mentally and physically enslaved is something we need to understand. People from Africa, our young people from Africa today who never experienced colonialism or suppression, physical suppression and oppression and beatings, you got to understand what it means to be physically and mentally enslaved. And so, for those Americans that stood up for America, for those Americans that stood up with Black Lives Matter, for those Americans who endured the tear gas, the beatings, and all the negative things of inhumanity against Americans for the past 4 years under Donald Trump, for the awakening of the rest of our black people to be inspired by people like Nancy Pelosi, her leadership, and by people like Stacey Abrams, and people like AOC, and people like my African sister, who Donald Trump tried to humiliate and disgrace, our representative from New York City. I take off my hat to you. I take off my hat to you. Because some of the insults Donald Trump spewed to our leaders were directly to our women. To Nancy Pelosi and those women I named. So we are still in this struggle. We are still in the struggle to punish Donald Trump, to punish Mick McConnell, to punish Lindsey Graham, to punish Josh Hawley, to punish Ted Cruz, to punish Mark Rubio, to punish all these evil men, Kevin McCarthy, Jim Jordan, to punish these evil people that perpetrated racism, race supremacy, hate, violence, and just nasty evil against us Americans. And they are still trying to get away with it, trying to make fun of what they did to us for these past 4 years, and still trying to lie to us, to bend the law, to twist the truth. And our people still are in this spell of deception and lies, in this spell of racism and hate, in this spell of pure evil. Bending the truth of Christianity, bending the words of Jesus Christ, taking his words and turning it into hate. Jesus is not a God of hate. Anywhere you hear hate, stay far, and stay far. So, I want to keep to my hour. I just want to take off my hat again to our great female leader, Nancy Pelosi. I think she is the greatest female leader of America right now. And although we have the first female vice president, she has to prove herself. But right now, Nancy Pelosi stand in the class all by herself. She is the bomb. Can CDCians' infectious love for President George Weah benefit Liberians? This is a Liberian hour, my people. Let's get into my Liberian peoples. You see, I always got to deal with my American community because this is the world community. Like Amy Writer said, after heaven on earth is USA. And that's truth. That's the truth. Besides USA, we don't know anywhere in the world that all people want to come to, that leads the world, that speaks for the world. America. So I'm proud to be a voice in this great nation. I'm not a politician. I'm a truth seeker. I'm an educator. So when these impact my people and my community and need to be taught, I have to step to the plate because I see nobody else in my community capable enough to step to the plate. Yes, Prophet Key got his world stage, but all those world stages are for Liberian people. This is the world stage. When you speak for America and American people, your community and all people of the world can understand you. What world stage is greater than the Attorney Commanders? None. So we got to understand the realism of Liberianism. We got to understand the realism of educating our people to the world standard and stages. We got to understand what it means to excel in our mental abilities, in our consciousness. I'm not trying to put Prophet Key down. He's a great Liberian, whether you accept it or not. Whether you accept it or not. Because one, he's factual. All the things Prophet Key has been telling us are realistic. We have friends that do. We have friends that do. We have certain Liberian people in our community who have information to divulge. And we go to these people for the information. Not because they are great or powerful and all of that, but they possess information that we need to know. And they bring them to us. They can be reliable. When they tell us things, we can rely on it. And although my boy Francis always says, save this information, keep it. But what he says comes to fruition. So all these things we're talking about, there are some certain people that are educators, certain people that are news bearers. And we have these people in our community, people like Yusine, people like Hawa, people like and Grace. Those are women that are educators and fighters and advocates on different levels. You heard Prophet Key today talking about the rape situation in Liberia, where he said, y'all take it over, Hawa, Grace, all of y'all who do the things. And we got women who fighting on that level. So we got different people that are educators, that are fighters. Now, yeah, you seen it? But yeah, she's a fighter and an educator. So you see me posting her things most of the time because she's not only fighting, she's educating. And these are the things we need to, but we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful. So let's get into my lesson now. We're talking about all these people. Somebody put out on the bulletin board. This is where my lesson comes from this topic. Somebody put on the board, CDCians have more infectious love for George Weah is greater than the CBP who hit their people, their leaders. So this is where we are stuck in our survival and lives in Liberian society today. We are stuck. We are stuck between fantasy, immaturity, and realism. So we're just stuck. It's a vicious cycle. It's vicious. Because when our young people have misplaced their sense and identity of who they are and relate it to political parties and to individuals and call it love, and their love that's supposed to be patriotic only to the Republic of Liberia has been transferred or transformed to a love that is subjected to individuals and to parties and to groups, our country can never develop. Our country has a systematic problem of immaturity. Immaturity, of ignorance. It's a systematic problem of immaturity and ignorance. And we have a very serious problem. Because what makes it serious is when people living in a nation and are beholden to one individual, not because the individual is a dictator. It's not because of George Weah is a dictator or anything. The people and the children are making George Weah into who he is because of their infectious love for that man. What kind of infectious love is that? Is that the same infectious love we have for Ellie Johnson Sirleaf? That we cannot audit our people? Or I listen to Dede Colley. I got my lesson from him to my third lesson. But he was talking about the same situation in our country. Misplaced identity, misplaced loyalty. And it's not just starting here. It started from a long time ago. When the ideals of our people are not in sync with the idea of modernization, of constitutional democracy, of leadership, we cannot rise to a better society. We cannot move forward to a better society. And that's why among diaspora Liberians, We have to be careful of all the people we listen to. We got to be careful of all the people with infectious love for George Weah. Because we cannot have infectious love for individual above our country. Then we complain that George Weah is becoming a dictator, that George Weah doing this. How will be George Weah doing it? When our ideas of love, our ideas of patriotism, our ideas of leadership, our ideas of democracy, our ideas of rule of law are all screwed up. And our young children are so bamboozled in their ideals of leadership and love. No, you cannot love George Weah above your love for the Liberian Republic, for law and order. I love George Weah too. I have to hate George Weah, but he needs to be flogged. He needs to be stripped of his wealth. He needs to be punished. He and his family. He and his crew. Because our country can't go through this. Leaders just come and steal. We don't order them. And we talk about for peace sake and we just move on. How our country will grow. How our country will evolve. We are in trouble. Now, I want to change my board every time I come to talk about Liberia. But how can I do that? I'm seeing nobody in Liberian leadership to put up behind me as viable. Who I will put behind me? All the flip-floppers we got in our country. That today, look at right now, the CPP, the COP, and all of them fussing among themselves. The LP. I don't even think about Darius Dillon, Nombly Kanga, none of them no more because they let me down. They stood up for position, now they got a position, and they flip-flopping. Just the rest of the Liberian people flip-flopping. Our leaders are not even flip-floppers. So what we intend to do now? People fussing with Costa. Costa was his own stand-up bearer for the COP. You see, we can't trust the leaders of our country. Everybody coming up and pretending that they're following some ideal. Then in the end, they come up with all this divisive and confused state of existence. You see why I never joined these people? And I keep telling y'all, we got to sit down and look at the leaders. That's the same recycling of the same people. There is nobody in Liberia viable to lead Liberia to a new era. We'll go into the sea, Boga come there, we'll do the same thing. We'll do the same thing. Because the people in the diaspora coming to Liberia will be forced into the same system of recycling because once the leadership are stealing or ignorant and have no ideas of new concept, of new ideas, and our country have been dealing in stealing in dysfunctional leadership for years. That's why I tell you, it's not a Congo country thing. It's a historical thing. And to break it, we got to be strong. And now the Bar Association just took the first step. This thing I've been telling you all along. We don't need no damn foreigners to come in our country to bring law and order. If we rely on foreigners, when the foreigners go, we will keep calling them back. You don't see America calling Russia to come solve their problem. You don't see America calling British to come solve their problem. No. A sovereign nation has to have men of leadership, men of pride and dignity, men of law and order, men of sound reasoning to lead a nation. Now our Bar Association have finally listened to what I've been talking for years. Rise up and let us take control of our country. But when I talk, people say Chesson talking divisiveness, Chesson talking this. How we have a leadership? We are punishing our rogues. We are setting up a structure now that will set a deterrent for rogues and people who think they can come and do their hustle in our country. Our country not for people to come home with the concept and mentality that they're coming home to do a hustle. No. You see how it sounds to me? You see how corrupt it appears to the world? How you come home to do a hustle? So this is the real world stage. I'm speaking to the world. I'm not speaking to the Liberian people. I'm not telling you about what George Weah then doing. It's good to know all of that. But I know George Weah then corrupt already. I know that a high school man cannot change the direction of Liberia. I saw it from door time. I'm living into reality. I'm not talking they say. I lived it. I saw it. I worked for Doe. I had to leave. I was a person in the government. I worked in the government. And for my own safety, for my own trustworthiness, for my own sense of honesty, for my own sense of patriotism, I had to leave. I was too young to get involved with that. I had too much wealth of education to pursue. To come sit down and start stealing money with Doda, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Because when I saw the corruption, I started crying. To see what our people built and understanding what my destiny is. And seeing it destroyed by my own people. It's just like seeing America run amok by Americans, defecating all in the Capitol building, turning us back into renegades and scavengers and animals. And this is what my country and people got to move from. We got to evolve from the level of kleptomaniac. It's kleptomaniac. It's a state of kleptomaniacy. What's the word? Kleptomania. It's a state of kleptomania. It's a sickness. And we are caught up in this state of forever perpetuating stealing and lying and deception and stealing, lying and betrayal and all these things against ourselves. And that's why I went to school for all these years. That's why I had to understand. That's why when I took the bar exam in America, I wanted to understand American law. Yeah, anybody can pass the law and make money. But understanding the in-depth essence of American law, that's what I was looking for. And that's what I achieved. And that's why when I talk, even some American lawyers got to think twice before they talk to me. Because I'm rounded in all areas of the law. I didn't specialize in one area. But when you bring it to me, I can stand up and argue with you with other law book. I got to go do research. I will stand up and will debate what you got to say. And there's no way you can say I'm not making sense. There's no way. There's no way you can dismiss my argument. There is no way you can dismiss my reasoning and rationale. So when I'm talking, I know why I'm talking. I'm not talking blindly. And when I look at my country time and again and see the dysfunctional state of my country, I got notes. I make notes every day. But when I make the notes and I look at the thing and talking it, my heart gets so broken And they sound like speaking like a broken record, just repeating the same thing over and over. It hurts, but I gotta do it. And sometimes my wife say, "Oh, sometimes you sound repetitive." I gotta do it. Sometimes I tell her, I say, "Yes, I gotta repeat it over and over because the people you talk to are not the people I talk to." Now in America today, we gotta talk to American people, tell them we talk to Liberian people. After what you saw and I saw on January 6, 2021 in America, these people just like Liberian people. They need to be sat down and repeatedly taught the same thing word for word. And this is what we're doing in Liberia. Because the comprehension level of our educated people, our Liberian educated people, our people coming from abroad, their ideas are screwed up. Why? Because it is not geared towards communal educational focusing. It's geared toward self-aggrandizement and enrichment. Look at American society today. Everything in this country here hangs on the dollar bill. It doesn't hang on Christianity. It doesn't hang on religion. It hangs on money. Everything. The first thing people talk about is economy. They don't talk about Jesus. They don't say, oh, we got to look to Jesus first before we move on. No. Everybody here care about the economy. That's money. Money before anything in this country. And the same thing in Liberia is becoming to be. That's why our country is so corrupt. Because people putting money before everything. And there's no money in Liberia. So where are you putting the money before? You in an impoverished country, and every little penny come in the country, everybody want to steal it to prove that they got some significance. Because when you come to America and you're a broker, you ain't nothing in this country. Because everything is money. Why you think the people stealing in Liberia for Liberia? No. You don't need plenty of money to live in Liberia. To get $200,000, you can live in Liberia like a king. If you know how to use that money, build your little house, live your simple life. But you can live a very comfortable life with that. But when people stealing millions of dollars, they're not stealing it to live in Liberia. Are you people crazy? What is in Liberia? Nothing. Nothing. When you are open to Western living, when you are open to Western enjoyment, when you open to Western lifestyle, going to Liberia is a torture. It's a torture. Except you go there for love and to really make changes. Living in Liberia is torture. Why do you think George Weah then always traveling abroad? Coming to every 6 months, every month they've got something to come to abroad or go to Ghana or go. You gotta travel. Or life will be very boring for you in Liberia. Except you are there for a purpose. Except you are there for a mission. A man like me come to Liberia, I ain't coming to sit down. We got plenty of work to do. The work that has to be done in Liberia cannot be done by one person. It has to be done with a group of devoted, patriotic, educated, common Liberian. We want people who will not hesitate to take off their shoes, to take off their boots, to take off their shirt and jump in the dish and work with your degree on your back. Those are the kind of people I'm looking for in Liberia. I don't want no educated people who just come and stand around and think they Mr. Honorable and all of this. No, we got real Liberians in the world. We got real Liberians who will not hesitate to take off their shirt to take off their coats, to take off their shoes, and jump in the dike to show you how to do the thing, to make the thing work for our country. They got people like that. They got people who can dress up like this, then in no time ready to take this shirt off and take the tie off and throw it in the dish and jump in the water to do my work. I'm a soldier. When it's time to take out the thing, I would throw it off and jump in the clothes I feel comfortable in. Right now, I feel all choked up, but I can stay choked up for 1 hour. I don't mind. But I ain't going to be living in the thing. While I take out all the things, my neck will be hurting me from being so stiff. I ain't used to this kind of thing. That's not my thing. But when I got to represent, when I got to teach, when I got to enlighten, when I got to guide and direct, I get in the outfit that suits the world. Because like this, I'm not talking to only Liberian. I'm talking to the world Negro people. I'm talking to the world white people. I'm talking to the world educated and intelligent people. Because those the people I'm reaching to now, to enlighten them, to bring to their consciousness that we are here. We deserve life. We deserve equity. We deserve protection. We deserve safety and security under the rule of law. And if the leaders of the world and our community are oblivious of their duties and obligations to our nations and our peoples, there's a grave problem. There's a grave, grave problem. Our world is not progressing. We are regressing. And that is a problem for my people. Because every time we regress, who suffers the most? We go back into slavery. We go back into impoverishment. We go back into debts and disgrace and a bad future outlook. So if we're not conscious of who we are, of our situation today, our need to rise up and ensure that we have leaders of knowledge, leaders of trustworthiness, leaders of honesty, who will give us what we need and want, not mediocre, cheap things, but quality things that will last through time. That no matter what happened, we'll say, yes, our leaders left us good roads, perfect, strong roads. They left us good infrastructure. They left us with a good sense of understanding the application of our laws. Instead of just making new laws to deceive us and confuse us, we take the old laws on the book and implement them so they can come into reality. That our children know when we put things on the book, it is because we have envisioned that they can happen in reality. So we don't just write foolishness and put laws that we cannot implement. That every day we got to change and add new laws. Look at all the laws of our damn books. They're not implemented. And you cannot keep changing laws and making laws and talking about punishing criminals and doing this and doing that, and you don't do it. Who are you? You are ignorant. You are just as dumb as the laws on the books that you keep changing and you keep making. And Lord, we're not going nowhere. So now, I hear my brother Dave Jackley from Rhode Island is on a selection list for police director. I take on the war crimes code, but let me finish talking all this thing. I got to interject all this thing before I talk about the bar association and the war crimes code. So my brother Jackley is going to Liberia now to help with the police force. They say I hear from Pafiki, one of the people in the lineup. But Jackley has always been a supporter of George Weah. And a few times here, I jumped into it in Rhode Island. That's my boy. I always got his back too. But there some foolishness they did with the George Weah business. Now he just coming to see the light. These were the people who supported George Weah. What they did, they slammed them in the back, put Jacqueline there in the corner. And while I used to meet him, I got mad at Jacqueline because of that. And I told him, I said, you the same people brought this George Weah to power. Y'all all over Rhode Island talk about we are. Now the man take power, he kick you to the curb. You say, Jacqueline, my boy, but you gotta let your boy know what they did wrong. But the only thing I like about my boy, he didn't give up. He pursued his police and career. Now he got a chance to go back and make a difference. My only point is, would they let Jacqueline do what he got to do? Would they let Dave Jacqueline do what he got to do? Or would Dave Jacqueline fall in the same Yes Sir program? I'm watching you, Dave Jacqueline, and you know me. I ain't going to play with you. You see the Liberian people? All the people from Rhode Island know me. All the tribal thing, your thing existing, they don't play with me. My Rhode Island people know me. When they do foolishness, I ain't backing down to cuss them. I ain't backing down to play with them. They want to hit me, they can hit me. But they were here because I got my third also over these people. But my people can't hear. My people want to act like all of them are leaders. And you can't lead a community with 20 leaders. You can't lead a community where everybody want to lead. Some people got to lead, and some people got to learn how to lead. I can't lead no more. I've been there too much, and I'm not going back there no more. I can't stand a yo-yo in community politics. I'm above that now. I'm looking at Liberian politics, national politics, and fixing my country. I ain't got time for people in the America community, ULI, and all this stupid BS. I ain't got time with them. So I'm not getting into them. But I call them every now and then and tell them what they need to do. They won't listen to me. Listen. They don't, you see, and I respect their leadership. I respect them. I respect Nathan the Troop. I respect what his name, and Winston Gould. I respect all the guys. When I call them, they give me the respect. There's not time that I will call them and they will not say, yeah, Chesson will listen to you. No. But the point is, leadership is about governance. Community leadership is not about president or power or who will do this. It's not about that. And my people can't understand in Rhode Island. I keep telling them it's not about that. It's about understanding the community you're dealing with and having people who can communicate with the leadership and get the point across. When I deal with Rhode Island leadership or Rhode Island governmental system, I understand that they are my leaders. And they got to understand that I know that I got rights in Rhode Island. I got rights in America. And I will not talk with them subserviently when I know my rights are on the line. And our African people always like to talk like the white people owe us something for our own rights. And I keep telling them, I said, no, I can't do that. I'm a U.S. citizen. All of your U.S. citizens leading our organization, why you're approaching our leaders like our community is for Africa? We are Africans in America with American citizenship. I know my rights. If the government does something wrong to me or to a member of my community that is racist, that is un-American, I will not right there and keep asking her for things, to explain things to me while I already know. Then we sit down and talk the same thing over and over, and can come to no conclusion or solution or decision on what to take. Then our own members end up doing things themselves, resigning and leaving the state job and leaving the state because they got to save their name and their prestige. So they come to agreement with the state, said, don't punish me, I will resign. And we lose out all the time. So our leaders in our community don't know their rights, the positions that they're standing in this society. And if most of them work for the government, they can't help us. Because you know, an African man work for government and living well and his family satisfied. The same thing with our people in Liberia, to help with the rest of us. Yes, they will lead us, but they will lead us not in the right direction. They will lead us into subjecting to the system, subjecting to the racism, subjecting to the evil, because they are scared for their own jobs and things, but they want to lead communities. They won't tell the white man, oh, I'm a leader in my community, I can do this. No, when I tell you I'm a leader, I'm a leader. And if things not right, somebody got to ask me, to answer me and say, why? I ain't going around like that. You can take your job, you can take anything. And you see, that will give me ulcers because I'm sincere. When I say I'm standing up for people, I'm standing up for you. If I'm pissed off with you, you know I'm pissed off with you. I ain't joking with you. As anybody who know Rodney Chesson, I ain't joking with you. You think I'm a fool because I want to teach you, because I want to raise you to another level. You think I'm following you for something and you won't play me? You're a fool. I'm here to build my people. I want nothing from black people. Jesus gives me everything I want. I keep telling you all this thing. Everybody think I can bring money and rich. I am rich. Because nobody will touch me while Jesus Christ is God. Nobody. So I will not be poor and eating under the garbage can and all of that. Yes, I will catch hard time and anything because of jealousy, because of haters, because of people who want to use me, because of my knowledge, my blessing, my creativity. They think I'm a dummy for power and money and position and friendship. Oh no, that don't work like that. I am a leader. I am imbued with all these things to lead, not to be led, to work with people, to lead, to work with groups, to lead. But if groups just come there for themselves and look at systems for who they love and who who their infectious love fall upon, that don't work with me. Because my infectious love is to the ideal that I both want to profit. So love has to have meaning. If love ain't got meaning, if love is misplaced, if love is misguided, if love is based on infatuation and nothing solid and true, and can wither away with challenges, what is that love? I'm in my hour. So let me put my last topic and this topic together. So this is where we stand. Now, Tiwan Gongolo, who's the chairman of the Bar Association, and the Bar Association have finally come to the conclusion that we are the masters of our own fate. We are the masters of our own destiny. Foreigners cannot come and change our lives and our societies. No, there will always be confusion and failures. and dysfunctional leaderships. But when we stand up as men and women and claim our society as intellectuals, as warriors, not warlords, warriors of pride and dignity, then that transforms our society from a society of immature, petty crooks and petty liars, and we become more of a nation geared toward world standards. But as we are right now, we are nobody because we do not have men and women in our society to take the full leadership of our society, to punish the rogues and bring them to justice. We don't have men and that. We still call it on the international. We are the children of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the international community queen, the dumb, useless woman who led our country to the international community instead of breeding men and women to lead Liberia. When there were a false idealism of you have to save the Liberian women. What kind of save the Liberian women that woman know? She's as dumb as George Weah. And this is the state we are in. So now that the Law Association is taking the helm of our society governance, of our societal living, of our societal true leadership, of constitutional rule of law, we can look now, I can look now with hope to a semblance of return to civilization in Liberia. Now that the Law Association, the Bar Association has stood up and said we set up the War Crimes Court for Liberia. And we want our lawyers and judges to understand the significance of what we're doing and what we must do to free Liberia of the people who have brought this shame, this disgrace, this inhumanity, and this lawlessness to our country. We must start with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We must start with the past regime. And if it takes us to Charles Taylor regime, if it takes us beyond Charles Taylor regime, we must go where the law takes us. And that is the purpose of Liberian people establishing our own War and Economic Crimes Code. We don't need no foreigners to do it for us. And when we open it, all of Liberia's warriors, all of Liberia's patriots, all of Liberia's legal-minded people, all of Liberian educated people of consciousness will return home to ensure that we punish all the rogues, that we change our system, that we set examples in our country, letting our people know that the laws that have been on our books from time immemorial can work. Our laws are not on our books for sham. Our laws are not on our book for bullshit. Our laws are not on our book for our children to read and imagine that these things can come to fruition. We got to set an example in our country. We have never done it before. Gonglo, I take all my hat to you and your Bar Association. Let's push it now. We're standing by to come home and prosecute these people. We're standing by to come home and implement the TRC. Wherever we have made mistakes, we fulfill it. Open the way. Grow up and know that we can do this ourselves. My last topic is short. We have too many educators and no students. All the podcasts I listen to, these people coming up on these different things to talk, got advice for Liberia, got advice for Liberian people. And they're in the situation but they don't know how to change it. So what use of all the advice? They tell you what's the problem with the society. They tell you what's the problem with the leadership. They tell you everything. But they don't tell you our country is full of rogues. They don't tell you the truth that our society is full of kleptomaniacs. People who just steal to steal. And we got to break that chain. And how do we break it? Start with the implementation of our laws, the establishment of our own courts to deal with the dysfunctional, evil, worthless, criminal lives we are living today. We got to stop it. And with our law and order, everything we do is dystopia. Aluta! Continue. My lesson is done. It's after 1 hour. I'm sorry I took so long on from topics because some topics are needed to be emphasized, to be stressed on for the development, progress and advancement, truth, truthfulness, honesty, sincerity, and welfare of Liberian people. I take off my hat again to Nancy Pelosi. Have a good day.